Okay, this is Johnny Boy Boxing at FightHype. I'm here with the great Mark Kriegel. What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother?
Okay, I want to ask you about Canelo, Crawford, and Manny Pacquiao and Barrios. Let's start with Pacquiao Barrios. What happens in that fight?
I don't know. I got to see the fight, man. I hope Manny ain't too old.
Who you leaning towards?
I think Manny wins.
Yeah, you think he wins? How does he do it, Mark?
Same way he did the other fights. You know?
But at an older rate, you know, he's going to do like a George Foreman where he's pulling out, you know, that.
He ain't going to be George Foreman. Look, you'll know pretty quick based on how his legs are. If he doesn't have the legs, he's not going to win. If he does, I think he'll be okay.
Well, he has those enormous calves, so I don't think the legs are never going to go.
But that doesn't mean
like
how live your legs are, man. He's still old. But,
yeah, definitely.
On balance, I think he got one night.
Definitely, so he can win that. And with Canelo Crawford in September, how do you see, how could Crawford beat Canelo? What would be the keys to victory for that?
Crawford can do a lot of stuff. I don't think it's entirely fair to judge him on his last performance. He was adjusting to size, he was adjusting to weight, but also he was fighting someone who's very, very long. Crawford's one of the most resourceful fighters I've ever seen. He can come at you from either side. He's a really high IQ. I think that he's thinking 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. Look, we'll see. It's a huge amount of weight to go up. I'm not quite sure what to compare it to, especially at this stage of his career.
Ray Leonard, Danny Lalonde?
Yeah, but I mean, Canelo's Canelo. What I'm more curious about is what Canelo comes out. I know how hungry Crawford is. I don't doubt Canelo's hunger, but I think he's gotten used to, you know, opponents who aren't quite, you know, what they were in the prime of his prime. And I also think he's gotten into the habit of throwing one shot at a time. You know, for instance, with Kovalev, you know, I thought that he was behind on points, but I also never thought that the fight was in doubt, and it was only a matter of time before he did what he did. I don't think you can get away with that in the same way with Terence Crawford.
And being that Crawford's 38 years old, being that he's older than Terence Crawford is older than Canelo Alvarez at 38 years old, and Canelo's like 36 or 35.
You think Crawford's going to get old on one night? I don't. Not this night. I don't. Just
so,
what I feel, you know, I don't.
So who do you think wins the fight?
I ain't going to tell you that.
Who do you lean towards, maybe? If you know?
I think Crawford's got a better shot than people are giving him right now. I think that he can do more things. I'm not trying to dodge your question.
Yeah.
I don't like to give predictions because I got to go into the fight.
Yeah.
Being down the middle, so I don't want to I don't want to placate either.
No worry, no problem.
Prediction? No. But I think that Crawford can do an awful lot of stuff, and I'm trying to figure out the last time the Canelo fought a guy who was this good. Forget about the weight, and I think that there's a lot of pressure on Canelo for not, to be frank, for not having fought Benavidez before. It's like, okay, you got a lighter guy, you got a smaller guy. What do you do with him now? That's a lot on him.
Absolutely. Just one last question. Is Terence Crawford the best switch hitter in boxing, better than Marvelous Marvin Hagler?
Is Terence Crawford what?
The best switch hitter in the history of boxing, better than Marvelous Marvin Hagler?
He's the best switch hitter right now.
That's right.
Okay?
All right, Mark. You got it. Thank you, bro.